The night begins with a quiet stillness, a softness that settles around you like a warm blanket. In this gentle darkness, the world slows, and the mind opens to a realm where curiosity and calm can coexist. As you let your breathing steady, you're invited into a slow, tranquil descent, a journey not through dreams alone, but through history, mystery, and the quiet edges of the unknown. Tonight, we wander into the realm of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, the modern government body tasked with studying what many still call UFOs. Yet before we step fully into that world, we ease into the moment, allowing the atmosphere to settle, allowing the mystery to unfold at a soothing, steady pace. For as long as human beings have lifted their gaze toward the stars, the sky has held secrets. Ancient cultures watched the heavens carefully, not only for navigation or ritual, but for signs, unexpected lights, strange alignments, sudden movements that seemed to defy logic. These stories, passed down through generations, were often told at night, by firelight or under open skies. In many ways, the same timeless curiosity guides us now. The questions have changed their language, once framed as omens, later as celestial objects, and today as unidentified anomalous phenomena. But the emotion behind them remains constant, wonder mixed with a faint, peaceful awe. As your body relaxes and the outer world grows more distant, we gently shift from the ancient skies to our modern one. In recent years, discussions surrounding UAPs have moved from the fringes into mainstream conversation. Pilots speak openly. Military reports are released to the public. Congress holds hearings. And at the center of this renewed attention stands AARO, formed to bring clarity and analysis to sightings that remain outside our current understanding. It exists not to sensationalize, but to study, carefully, quietly, methodically. And in that purposeful calm, it becomes a fitting guide for tonight's exploration. AARO did not emerge from nowhere. It is the latest in a long lineage of government efforts to understand strange objects detected in the air, at sea, and occasionally even in orbit. These investigations are shaped not only by technology and policy, but by the human experiences behind every report. A radar operator staring at an unexpected blip that won't behave like any known aircraft. A pilot watching a glowing object move against the wind. A satellite unexpectedly capturing a shape where no shape should be. These moments often occur in quiet stretches of night, mirroring the quiet of this moment now, when the mind is most open to subtle details. As you drift deeper into relaxation, imagine the calm of those observation rooms, dim lights, quiet hums of equipment, steady breaths of individuals trained to stay composed even when faced with the unexplained. These professionals, pilots, sailors, analysts, bring discipline and clarity to their encounters, yet still sometimes describe events that defy conventional explanation. AARO collects their accounts, compares them with sensor data, and looks for patterns that might bring order to confusion. And yet, even with modern tools, not everything aligns neatly. Some cases dissolve under scrutiny: weather, drones, reflections, instrumentation quirks. Others remain stubbornly unresolved. It is in this delicate space between explanation and uncertainty that tonight's journey finds its rhythm. You are not here to solve the mysteries, nor to chase dramatic conclusions. You are simply drifting alongside them, letting each layer of information settle gently in the mind. The unknown, in this setting, becomes soothing rather than unsettling. It becomes a quiet companion, something vast yet peaceful, like the soft stretch of night sky above the earth or the slow drift of distant starlight. As you settle more deeply into comfort, consider how many people throughout history have looked up at the same night sky, wondering quietly about strange shapes or movements they couldn't easily explain. There is a continuity in this curiosity that binds generations. Farmers, sailors, astronomers, travelers, pilots, all touched by the same ancient impulse to understand what moves above us. Tonight, you are part of that lineage, but experiencing it in a gentler way, allowing the mind to explore without urgency. This journey begins not with fear or speculation, but with calm appreciation. There is something restful in acknowledging the limits of what we know. Something tranquil about floating between evidence and imagination, between data and wonder. This is not the loud, chaotic version of mystery, but the soft bedtime version, where questions become stepping stones toward relaxation instead of barriers to sleep. As this section comes to a close, the tone settles even further. The world beyond the room fades. Your breathing is slow and steady. The mysteries ahead wait with patience, ready to unfold one layer at a time. For now, you rest in the gentle doorway between known and unknown, letting curiosity guide you deeper into stillness. Tonight's journey continues, but always with softness, always with space for rest, always with the promise that even the strangest mysteries can be explored with peace. In the quiet drift of the night, as your thoughts begin to settle and your breathing becomes slow and rhythmic, the story moves gently backward through time. Before AARO existed, before modern radar screens flickered with anomalies, and before congressional hearings brought the subject into public view, there was a long, winding history of governments trying to understand strange things seen in the sky. This history unfolds not with urgency, but with a soft, steady rhythm, like pages turning in an old book. Tonight, you wander through that history calmly, letting each moment settle like falling dust in a quiet room. The story truly begins in the late 1940s, when the world had just emerged from the upheaval of World War II. Nations had witnessed technologies once thought impossible. Rockets crossing continents, aircraft flying faster and higher than ever before. With this sudden leap forward came a new kind of uncertainty. Radar systems, still relatively young, began to detect blips that didn't match the flight patterns of known planes. Pilots, many of them seasoned veterans, reported shimmering objects maneuvering in ways that defied the aircraft of their era. These early accounts didn't come from sensationalists. They came from trained observers accustomed to reading the sky with precision. As these reports accumulated, the U.S. government launched its first official inquiry, Project Sign. The investigators, working in quiet offices and analyzing stacks of witness statements, radar logs, and flight records, attempted to bring clarity to a rising public concern. At first, some analysts seriously considered the possibility of extraterrestrial craft. Others pushed for more conventional explanations: foreign technology, atmospheric illusions, experimental aircraft. The project reflected a world still adjusting to the vast technological unknowns left in the wake of the war. Though Project Sign was short-lived, it planted the first seeds of systematic investigation. Following Sign came Project Grudge, a quieter, more skeptical effort. Officials attempted to reduce public anxiety by attributing most sightings to natural or misidentified causes. Yet even within this atmosphere of dismissal, a few reports resisted easy explanation. Pilots described objects that accelerated abruptly or hovered without visible means of propulsion. Engineers studying radar anomalies found signatures that didn't match standard atmospheric interference. Still, Grudge ended with the belief that the phenomenon did not warrant further intense concern. But the sky had other plans. Reports continued, often from highly reliable sources. So the government created Project Blue Book, the most famous of the early investigations. Over nearly 2 decades, Blue Book collected thousands of cases. Many were solved: weather balloons, astronomical objects, or aircraft misperceived under unusual lighting. But a small percentage remained stubbornly enigmatic, described by analysts as unexplained even after thorough examination. These cases came from military personnel who were trained to remain calm and detail-oriented even in stressful situations. Throughout these years, the world was in the grip of the Cold War, and this geopolitical tension deeply influenced how UFO sightings were interpreted. New Soviet technologies were constantly feared, and any unknown object in the sky carried the weight of potential threat. This atmosphere made officials cautious. Some sightings that might today be examined scientifically were, at the time, viewed primarily through the lens of intelligence and national security. Many documents remained classified for decades, contributing to a public sense of mystery and suspicion. Yet behind closed doors, Analysts were often simply trying to determine whether a sighting represented a foreign aircraft, a misunderstood natural event, or something truly anomalous. As technology advanced, so did the complexity of the sightings. Jet aircraft introduced new shapes and speeds into the sky, leading to more mistaken reports. Weather and atmospheric science revealed phenomena like ball lightning and temperature inversions that could cause unusual radar readings. And yet, even as science explained more and more, a small fraction of cases continued to sit in the unresolved category. These unresolved cases lingered in the background of public consciousness, quietly fueling curiosity. By the early 2000s, official interest waned, but pilots and military personnel continued reporting odd encounters. The skies were busier than ever, crowded with drones, satellites, and advanced aircraft. New sensors detected more anomalies, not fewer. And with each passing year, the gap widened between what was being officially investigated and what was being quietly observed. Then, in the late 2010s and early 2020s, leaked videos of Navy encounters reignited global attention. Calm voices of experienced pilots describing objects with no visible propulsion, moving in ways that didn't match known physics, captured the public imagination. Congressional inquiries followed, pushing for transparency, safety protocols, and deeper investigation. This renewed interest set the stage for AARO's creation, a culmination of decades of attempts, missteps, secrecy, and genuine scientific curiosity. The path leading to AARO is not a straight line, but a tapestry woven from fear, wonder, technological evolution, and human perception. And in the quiet of this moment, you can feel how that history stretches out behind you like a long, dimly lit corridor, each era leaving traces for the next to interpret. As you rest, the past blends softly into the present. The old investigations, Sign, Grudge, Blue Book, fade gently into the background, and the story prepares to move toward the modern era of analysis. But for now, you stay in this soothing in-between space, feeling how each chapter of history gently supports the next, setting the foundation for the mysteries yet to unfold. In the soft drift of this quiet night, the story moves gently from the long arc of history into the modern moment, where a new organization steps into the center of the mystery. The All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, known simply as AARO, was created not out of sudden fascination, but out of accumulating need, years of reports, unanswered questions, and the steady realization that traditional systems were not equipped to handle the growing complexity of unidentified phenomena. Its formation was a response to pilots seeking clarity, to lawmakers requesting transparency, and to analysts needing a structured way to study events that defied easy categorization. And so, in a calm and deliberate way, AARO emerged as the newest chapter in the ongoing effort to understand the unknown. AARO's mandate is broader than anything that came before it. It does not limit itself to the sky. Instead, it examines anomalies across all domains: air, sea, space, and even those situations where sensors detect objects transitioning between environments in ways that challenge current expectations. This wider scope reflects a recognition that unusual sightings are not confined to a single type of environment. Navy ships report strange objects splashing into the ocean without producing sound or debris. Satellites capture shapes that appear briefly in orbit before vanishing. Pilots describe movements that seem to ignore aerodynamics. AARO's purpose is to gather all these threads into one place, to study them with consistency and care. The organizational structure behind AARO is surprisingly intricate. It sits within the Department of Defense, yet works closely with the intelligence community, scientific advisors, and occasionally even civilian agencies. This interconnected design allows it to pull data from radar systems, infrared sensors, satellite imagery, pilot debriefings, and classified surveillance networks. Analysts from different disciplines, physics, aerospace engineering, behavioral science, contribute insights, each adding a piece to the puzzle. Even the simplest case may require multiple perspectives before reaching a conclusion. Despite the complexity, the tone within AARO is measured, patient, and methodical, much like the calm atmosphere of this moment. One of the driving forces behind AARO's creation was concern for pilot safety. As more pilots reported strange objects crossing their flight paths, military leadership realized that unidentified phenomena were not merely curiosities. They were potential hazards. A fast-moving object, even if unintentional or naturally occurring, could pose a risk to aircraft. AARO was tasked with improving reporting systems so that pilots no longer felt stigma or hesitation. Today, aviators can file reports without fear of ridicule, knowing that their observations will be reviewed by experts rather than dismissed. This change alone has increased the flow of data, giving analysts a clearer picture of what is truly happening in the skies. Yet, AARO also faces challenges that few outside observers consider. Classification rules limit how much information can be shared publicly. Not because the phenomena themselves are always secret, but because the sensors that detect them often use advanced technology that officials cannot fully disclose. At times, this creates misunderstandings. The public may believe information is being hidden, when in reality, the government is protecting methods, not mysteries. AARO operates in this delicate space, trying to communicate findings while respecting the layers of security that surround its data sources. Inside its offices, analysts often walk a careful line between skepticism and openness. Many cases ultimately trace back to drones, balloons, birds, or sensor artifacts. Others reveal rare atmospheric conditions that distort signals or create optical illusions. And yet, after all the ordinary explanations are removed, a small number of cases remain unresolved. These are the ones that occupy the quiet edges of AARO's work. They may not confirm extraordinary theories, but they resist conventional ones. The organization treats these cases with deliberate neutrality, neither exaggerating nor dismissing them. In this balanced approach, mystery becomes something handled with respect rather than excitement. As you rest deeper into the quiet, imagine the calm flow of information passing through AARO's hands. Radar traces mapping gentle curves, infrared footage showing faint heat signatures against the cold sky, pilot voices steady and measured as they describe movements that felt unusual. None of this is rushed. The process is slow, careful, almost meditative in its own way. Each detail is examined, cross-referenced, and placed gently into context. Even in the face of unknowns, the tone remains steady. AARO's existence also represents a cultural shift. For decades, discussions of UFOs hovered in the margins, wrapped in speculation and stigma. Now, a government office openly acknowledges the existence of unidentified phenomena, treating them as real events worthy of scientific attention. This shift does not claim that all mysteries point to something extraordinary, only that the unexplained should not be ignored. It makes space for curiosity while grounding that curiosity in calm analysis. As this section comes to a peaceful close, the significance of AARO becomes clearer. It is not a sensational organization, nor a secretive one. It is a bridge between past and present, between observation and analysis, between wonder and caution. It stands as a steady presence in a complex world, quietly reviewing what humans see but do not yet understand. And as you drift deeper into relaxation, the story prepares to move into the cases themselves, the encounters that gave AARO its purpose, carried forward now with the same gentle rhythm that fills this moment. The night has grown deeper now, and the mind moves with a gentle rhythm, settling into a calm focus. It is here, in this quiet space, that the stories of the encounters themselves begin to unfold. These are not dramatic tales meant to shock or alarm, but carefully observed moments, quiet flashes of the unknown that linger at the edge of perception. Within AARO's archives, there are cases that resist easy explanation, accounts that merge meticulous observation with lingering mystery. Each encounter carries its own atmosphere, the soft hum of a radar room, the distant sound of engines, the subtle tension of trained professionals witnessing something beyond expectation. One such case comes from a Navy pilot flying along the eastern seaboard on a routine training mission. The sky was clear, the stars faintly visible beyond the faint glow of city lights. Suddenly, The radar picked up an object moving at speeds that no known aircraft could achieve, performing abrupt maneuvers with uncanny precision. The pilot, highly experienced and accustomed to tracking complex aerial traffic, described the object as a smooth, glowing shape, almost metallic in appearance, with no visible wings or propulsion system. Multiple onboard sensors corroborated the sighting, though conventional explanations, whether other aircraft or technical glitches, were unable to account for the anomaly. The calmness with which the pilot reported the event highlights the credibility of such accounts, even in the midst of the inexplicable. In another case, a group of sailors observed an object at sea during a night watch. The water was calm, reflecting the stars above, and the object appeared to hover just above the surface, moving silently against the wind. They described it as a dark silhouette with subtle luminescence, sometimes dipping below the horizon before reappearing in another position. Radar readings matched some of these movements, though inconsistencies remained, suggesting that either the object itself was performing extraordinary maneuvers, or that multiple observational challenges were at play. These encounters were logged carefully, every detail recorded with precision, illustrating the methodical nature of modern observation. Even satellites have captured anomalies that defy immediate understanding. In one instance, thermal imaging revealed a shape crossing orbital paths at a speed inconsistent with known satellites or debris. Analysts cross-checked against launch records, predicted satellite trajectories, and known orbital phenomena, yet nothing aligned with the observation. The images were grainy, but clear enough to suggest a structured object rather than random debris. In these moments, the quiet curiosity of scientists and analysts mirrors the quiet of this night, calm, steady, and patient, observing a pattern that refuses to resolve fully. These cases are often presented alongside conventional explanations. Pilots are trained to consider weather balloons, atmospheric conditions, and sensor glitches. Analysts double-check radar logs and satellite imagery. Some anomalies are traced back to drones, while others remain enigmatic despite thorough investigation. This juxtaposition of mundane and mysterious is part of what makes AARO's work so compelling. It acknowledges human perception and technology while leaving space for genuine uncertainty. The calm tone of investigation, rather than sensational reporting, allows the mind to drift comfortably through complexity. There is also a psychological dimension to these encounters. Witnesses often describe a sense of awe, a strange mixture of fear and fascination, even as they maintain composure. Cognitive scientists note that humans tend to detect patterns and movement even in low light or ambiguous conditions. Yet in many AARO cases, multiple trained observers report the same phenomena independently. This convergence of testimony strengthens credibility, suggesting that something tangible occurred rather than a simple misperception. Yet the mystery remains intact, quietly balancing between rational analysis and the unknown. Some encounters have become iconic not for their spectacle, but for their subtlety. One pilot noted a small, luminous object appearing near the wingtip, moving in ways that seemed intelligent, almost playful, before accelerating out of sight. Others recall faint shapes appearing near the horizon, disappearing and reappearing without warning. These moments, while brief, carry an enduring impact, lingering in memory long after the flight or watch has ended. They highlight the recurring pattern: objects observed carefully, recorded meticulously, yet ultimately resisting full explanation. AARO does not rush to conclusions. Each case is a puzzle, a gentle exercise in observation and documentation. Analysts consider every angle: speed, trajectory, environmental factors, sensor calibration, and eyewitness experience. When ordinary explanations fail, the case is filed as unresolved, not sensationalized. It is this careful attention to detail, combined with the preservation of mystery, that allows these stories to be both informative and soothing. They are mysteries that invite curiosity rather than alarm, perfect companions for a calm, contemplative night. As your body settles deeper into relaxation, it is easy to imagine these encounters unfolding in real time, each detail noticed, each anomaly recorded, each observer breathing slowly as they watch the unknown move across sky, or see. These stories remind us of the subtle power of observation, the way the human mind balances attention, skepticism, and awe. And they prepare the mind gently for the next layer of exploration. The questions and theories that emerge when careful observation meets the edges of understanding, creating a quiet space where mystery can reside comfortably. As the night deepens and the mind continues to settle into a rhythm, the gentle exploration of AARO's work leads us toward a critical crossroads, the attempt to make sense of the unknown. While many of the cases investigated by AARO remain unresolved, they are not left in a vacuum. Every strange sighting, every unexplained movement, is met with a collection of theories, some grounded in scientific principles, others reaching into the realms of speculation. It is at this crossroads where the familiar dance between explanation and mystery takes place, a delicate balancing act that shapes how we understand the world and our place in it. One of the most grounded and common explanations for some of these mysterious sightings involves advanced technology, specifically experimental aircraft or drones. In the decades since the end of World War II, rapid advancements in aviation have resulted in aircraft that are far more capable than most civilians realize. Stealth bombers, hypersonic jets, and autonomous drones can move at speeds and altitudes that seem impossible to those who are unaccustomed to them. These vehicles can appear almost as if they are defying the laws of physics, especially to someone who has not seen them in action before. AARO's analysts are quick to consider these technological possibilities, as they often account for the strange and rapid movements reported in many sightings. Yet, even as these technologies are explored and tested, they are not always able to explain everything. For one, there are cases where the objects appear to exhibit characteristics that go beyond the capabilities of any known aircraft. They can change direction instantaneously, accelerate with remarkable speed, or hover silently in place. These behaviors, observed by highly trained pilots and backed by multiple sensors, do not align with anything currently understood within the realm of conventional aerospace engineering. These discrepancies fuel the continuing search for alternative explanations, and the mind naturally gravitates toward the more extraordinary. Some theories propose that these objects may be operating under principles of physics not yet fully understood. Speculative ideas about anti-gravity technology or advanced propulsion systems, such as those that could theoretically manipulate the fabric of spacetime, have found a place within discussions of unexplained phenomena. Some scientists suggest that certain objects might be utilizing energy or forces that we are only beginning to scratch the surface of, such as electromagnetic manipulation or even wormholes. While these ideas remain speculative and largely unproven, they provide a tantalizing glimpse into what might be possible if humanity's understanding of physics were to expand. In this sense, AARO is not merely investigating anomalous objects. It is, in a quiet way, participating in the broader exploration of human knowledge, attempting to bridge the known with the unknown. There are also theories that suggest these objects could be more than just advanced human technology. Some suggest that what we are witnessing could be a form of extraterrestrial visitation, an intelligent species capable of technology far beyond our own. This idea, once relegated to the realm of science fiction, has begun to receive more attention in recent years, especially with the release of government reports and videos that seem to suggest craft performing movements that no known aircraft could achieve. The question that emerges here is profound. If these objects are not of earthly origin, what does that mean for humanity's place in the universe? The theory of extraterrestrial visitation is often met with a mixture of intrigue and skepticism. While some researchers advocate for this hypothesis, others remain deeply cautious, arguing that there is no direct evidence linking these phenomena to alien intelligence. After all, the vastness of space and the limits of our understanding of biology and technology make it difficult to prove such claims definitively. Nonetheless, the idea that these objects might be alien in origin cannot be easily dismissed, and it lingers in the background of many of the most puzzling cases. Another theory involves the possibility that these anomalies are not extraterrestrial at all, but rather interdimensional. Some physicists have speculated that the universe we experience is only one of many possible realities, and that there could be other dimensions, parallel universes, that intersect with our own. According to this theory, what we are seeing could be glimpses into these other realms, where the laws of physics may operate differently. This idea, while still highly speculative, opens the door to even more profound possibilities, inviting questions about the nature of reality itself. Could we, as a species, be witnessing a phenomenon from another dimension, one that our current scientific framework cannot fully comprehend? Then there are the more grounded, albeit no less mysterious, explanations that suggest these sightings could be phenomena of our own Earth, atmospheric or environmental conditions that create optical illusions, distortions, or unusual radar reflections. Weather phenomena, like ball lightning for example, have been known to exhibit strange behaviors, appearing as glowing orbs that hover or dart through the sky. Similarly, the Earth's magnetic field can sometimes cause radar systems to pick up anomalies that appear as solid objects, but are, in fact, just reflections or artifacts. While these explanations are often more mundane, they remind us that the world is filled with natural phenomena that can behave in ways that defy our expectations. In the context of AARO's work, these theories, whether they are based in known technologies, speculative physics, or even alternative dimensions, are examined with a calm, open-minded approach. Each sighting is analyzed through a multidisciplinary lens, considering not only the technical aspects of the event, but also the psychological and environmental factors at play. The goal is not to confirm or deny any single theory, but to build a comprehensive understanding of the phenomenon, one that takes into account the many possible explanations without rushing to conclusions. As you lie there, deep in the comfort of this peaceful moment, the mystery unfolds slowly, layer by layer. It is not a mystery meant to induce anxiety or fear, but one that invites reflection. Each theory, whether it leans toward the technological or the extraordinary, becomes a part of the narrative, providing context and depth to the anomalies AARO investigates. The uncertainty surrounding these sightings is not a source of discomfort, but a quiet space where curiosity can rest, where we can ponder the vastness of what we do not yet know. And as the world outside continues to sleep, you are invited to rest too, allowing the gentle unfolding of mystery to be both soothing and thought-provoking, leaving you with the peace of simply knowing that some questions, even without answers, are enough to inspire a sense of wonder. As the night sky stretches on, the story shifts in a quiet, almost imperceptible way, moving beyond the sterile confines of government analysis and deep into the realm of the human experience. It is here, in the intersection of cultural perception and the unexplained, that the true depth of UFO sightings begins to take shape. While official agencies like AARO work tirelessly to uncover the truth behind anomalous phenomena, the way these sightings are perceived by the public, shaped by media and culture, has just as profound an effect on how they are understood and remembered. What is seen is not always the same as what is believed, and the stories people tell about UFOs, both in whispers and in headlines, are often as important as the sightings themselves. The modern fascination with UFOs and extraterrestrial life is in many ways a child of the 20th century, deeply intertwined with the rise of mass media. The dawn of television, followed by the explosion of science fiction films, instilled in the public imagination a vision of the sky as a mysterious frontier. Films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or E.T., the extraterrestrial, have since become cultural touchstones, crafting a particular kind of mythology around the idea of UFOs as visitors from distant stars. These images, initially born of fiction, have in many cases bled into the real-world perception of what a UFO encounter should look like. Silver saucers, extraterrestrial beings, and more recently, advanced military craft cloaked in secrecy. This connection between fiction and reality has a profound effect on how people interpret what they see in the sky. Witnesses often report seeing objects that seem to fit the description of what they have seen in films, glowing orbs, disks, and lights that move in ways that seem impossible for earthly aircraft. Psychologists suggest that this is an example of cultural priming, where people's expectations shape their perceptions. If we've been conditioned to see UFOs as shiny metallic saucers, our minds may be more likely to interpret any unexplained object in the sky in those terms. This doesn't mean that witnesses are lying, but rather that their expectations are subtly guiding their perceptions. The power of media in shaping these expectations is undeniable. This influence, however, is not one-sided. Media, particularly in the age of the Internet, feeds off the stories of real witnesses, amplifying their voices and sometimes magnifying the mysterious aspects of their experiences. Social media platforms and viral videos allow eyewitness accounts to spread rapidly, and this democratization of UFO narratives means that more people than ever before are encountering stories that shape their understanding of these phenomena. The 2007 release of the Pentagon UFO files and subsequent declassification of military videos showing strange objects captured by Navy pilots brought the topic from the realm of fringe theories into the mainstream, feeding a resurgence in public interest. It was no longer just conspiracy theorists speculating about UFOs. The U.S. military, the government, and credible officials were speaking openly about UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. This shift in tone invited a new kind of legitimacy to the conversation, and as a result, UFOs became less of a mystery to be solved and more of a widespread cultural event to be discussed. However, the way UFOs are framed in media also carries a risk. Sensationalism, be it in the form of alien abductions, government cover-ups, or extraterrestrial conspiracies, can muddy the waters of legitimate investigation. While AARO works methodically, presenting evidence without jumping to conclusions, media outlets sometimes amplify the most extraordinary cases, turning them into stories of intrigue and fear. In doing so, they create a dichotomy between rational inquiry and the sensational narratives that play on public anxiety. This can distort public perception, causing people to conflate genuine investigations into UAPs with the more fantastical aspects of UFO lore. Moreover, the mythology surrounding UFOs has taken on a life of its own, evolving in ways that go far beyond the scientific community. The idea of extraterrestrials visiting Earth has become a fixture of popular culture, woven into everything from books to television shows to YouTube documentaries. The public has, in many ways, adopted the UFO narrative as a form of modern mythology, seeking meaning in the mysteries of the unknown. This isn't just about believing in aliens. It's about the need for a larger cosmic story, one that provides answers to existential questions about life, our place in the universe, and the possibility of life beyond Earth. But alongside the myths, there is also the social and psychological impact of UFO sightings. When people report strange experiences, they are often met with a mixture of skepticism and fascination. This has led many witnesses to remain silent, fearing ridicule or disbelief. However, the growing number of high-profile cases and official acknowledgments has helped reduce the stigma surrounding UFO reports. People are now more willing to come forward with their experiences, knowing that their accounts will be treated with more respect and consideration. This shift in societal perception is crucial for AARO's work. As more people report their encounters with UAPs, the organization's task becomes even more challenging, but also more important. It's not just about investigating strange phenomena. It's about creating a space where these phenomena can be taken seriously and analyzed in a scientific, structured way. This is where AARO's work intersects with culture. It operates in a world that is no longer dismissive of UFOs, where the very idea of UAPs has moved from fringe speculation to a mainstream concern. In the background of this cultural shift, there is also the influence of history. Across cultures, humans have long looked to the sky for meaning. From ancient civilizations that interpreted celestial events as omens or signs from gods, to modern-day UFO sightings that may be tied to feelings of uncertainty or curiosity. The sky has always been a place where the unknown holds power. The cultural lens through which we view these phenomena has evolved, but the deep-rooted human fascination with the stars remains unchanged. This connection to the cosmos ties each generation to the next, uniting people across time in the shared experience of wonder. As you relax deeper into this story, you may find that the mysteries of the sky are not just about the physical phenomena themselves, but also about how they reflect our collective hopes, fears, and questions. UFO sightings are not only events to be investigated, they are moments in time that speak to something universal in the human condition, a desire for connection, for understanding, and for meaning in a vast, mysterious universe. And as this section fades into quiet contemplation, the mysteries of the night continue to hang above, not only as unexplained phenomena, but as a cultural reflection of humanity's enduring curiosity. As the night deepens further, the atmosphere shifts toward a more reflective pace. The journey has been long, moving from the initial sightings to the theories and cultural influences that shape how we view these mysterious phenomena. Now we move gently toward the present moment, where AARO's work intersects with the modern world of scientific inquiry and investigation. As you relax deeper, the narrative shifts away from history and speculation and into the careful, measured efforts that define how UAPs are studied today. AARO's work, in its current form, represents the cutting edge of an ongoing search for answers, a search that is no longer confined to the fringes of society or the world of conspiracy theories. It is firmly rooted in the mainstream now, both as a subject of government interest and as a legitimate field of scientific investigation. The office itself is tasked with analyzing and categorizing UAP encounters, from those reported by military personnel to those detected by the latest radar and sensor technologies. Yet, even as it operates under the auspices of national security and defense, AARO faces an additional challenge: how to balance the pursuit of knowledge with the ever-present need for discretion, especially in a world where information flows freely and rapidly. At the heart of AARO's mission lies an intricate web of collaboration between military and civilian agencies, including intelligence bodies, scientific institutions, and even private sector experts. Unlike past efforts to investigate UFOs, which were often isolated to the military or hidden in secretive government projects, AARO draws from a much broader pool of resources and expertise. In this way, the investigation of UAPs is not just about gathering evidence, but about creating a collaborative framework that can process and interpret those pieces of evidence. Scientists and engineers, many of whom have no prior experience with UFO investigations, bring fresh perspectives, applying their knowledge to the study of these phenomena. This approach marks a notable departure from previous government investigations. Historically, agencies like Project Blue Book and Project Sign were closed off from the wider scientific community, with many of their findings shrouded in secrecy. This created a sense of frustration, not just for the public, but for many within the military and intelligence agencies who found themselves working with incomplete or inaccurate data. The public skepticism of government claims about UFOs was, in many ways, a direct result of this lack of transparency. With AARO, however, the intention is not to sequester information, but to share it in a responsible way. Reports are declassified when possible, and efforts are made to encourage transparency without jeopardizing national security. This openness is also evident in the way AARO handles encounters reported by the public. Whereas in the past, UFO sightings were often dismissed or ridiculed, today there is a more open channel for reporting. The office makes it clear that all reports, whether from military personnel, pilots, or civilians, are taken seriously. There are no dismissive remarks or knee-jerk conclusions. Every report is treated as potentially valuable, and every witness is listened to carefully. This is a fundamental shift in how UFOs are approached, and it speaks to a deeper cultural shift as well, a willingness to acknowledge the unknown and to treat it with the same curiosity and respect as any other scientific inquiry. The technology used by AARO in its investigations has also undergone a remarkable evolution. Modern radar, infrared sensors, and satellite technology allow analysts to observe phenomena that were previously undetectable. Military jets equipped with advanced tracking systems can capture high-resolution images and videos of anomalous objects in real time, while satellites monitor the skies for sudden, unexplainable movements. These tools, when coupled with the testimonies of credible witnesses, provide AARO with a wealth of data to examine. Yet, despite all the advanced technology, AARO is also acutely aware of the limitations of its methods. The nature of UAPs is such that they may defy conventional detection systems. Some phenomena may be too subtle for current technology to capture fully, while others might occur under conditions that prevent clear observation. Additionally, while technology can detect unusual movements or objects, it cannot necessarily explain them. This is the delicate space AARO inhabits, a space of investigation, where each discovery raises more questions than answers. In many ways, the process of studying UAPs is like looking through a window into a vast, unexplored wilderness, fascinating and full of potential, but impossible to fully map or understand with the tools at hand. As AARO's investigations continue, the office remains focused on uncovering patterns and establishing correlations between sightings and other environmental factors. The goal is not to leap to extraordinary conclusions, but to build a comprehensive understanding of the phenomena based on reliable evidence. The patterns that emerge, whether they relate to the location of sightings, the types of craft involved, or the specific characteristics of the encounters, may help unlock a deeper understanding of these events. But even as these patterns are identified, AARO operates under the understanding that the truth may not be as straightforward as it seems. In this sense, the investigation of UAPs requires a level of patience that is uncommon in other fields of inquiry. It is not a race to find the answers, but a slow, deliberate process of gathering information, analyzing data, and refining hypotheses. Each case adds a new layer to the understanding, each sighting offering a new puzzle piece. Yet, even as AARO works to find answers, there is an acceptance that the journey may be long, with many twists and turns. Some phenomena may never be fully explained, and some mysteries may remain forever out of reach. But this uncertainty is not a source of frustration for those involved in AARO's work. Rather, it is embraced as part of the process. In a world that often demands immediate answers and quick resolutions, AARO's careful, methodical approach offers a calm alternative, a reminder that some questions are worth exploring slowly, with respect and attention to detail. It is this same sense of calm and patience that you feel now as you drift deeper into the quiet, knowing that the investigation into the unknown is ongoing, and that every discovery, whether large or small, brings humanity one step closer to understanding the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp. And as you rest, you are reminded that sometimes the act of searching itself is the most profound journey of all. As the night continues to unfold, the rhythm of this exploration grows even quieter, as if the mysteries of the unknown are being tucked away in soft shadows. This is where the story begins to draw its threads together, where the quiet investigations of AARO, the lingering questions, and the gentle pull of human curiosity converge in a space of reflection. What does it all mean, after all? What is the significance of these strange encounters, these unexplainable phenomena, and the ongoing quest to understand them? The answer, perhaps, is not found in a single revelation or a dramatic conclusion. Instead, it lies in the quiet space where curiosity meets uncertainty, where the desire to understand pushes us into the depths of the unknown. In this, the work of AARO, along with countless other investigations, takes on a deeper significance. It is not merely about uncovering hidden truths or proving extraordinary hypotheses. It is about opening a door into the vastness of our own limitations and our willingness to explore those limitations with patience and respect. When we think of the unexplained, our natural inclination is to seek immediate answers. We want the puzzle pieces to fit together in a way that makes sense, to understand the why and how of each strange event. But the more we look, the more we realize that some mysteries may not have neat, concise answers. Sometimes the journey itself, seeking, questioning, and wondering, is more important than any final conclusion. In a world that demands quick answers, AARO's work is a reminder that some questions require time, nuance, and careful thought. This acceptance of uncertainty is a critical part of the process. When dealing with UAPs, one must be prepared for ambiguity, for answers that might not come in the form we expect. The data collected, whether from radar, infrared sensors, or eyewitness accounts, often does not provide the neat clarity we hope for. Some sightings may turn out to be weather phenomena or misidentified objects. Others may remain shrouded in uncertainty, with no concrete explanation in sight. But within this ambiguity lies a deeper understanding. The unknown is a part of the human experience. To embrace it is to acknowledge that not everything in our world will be fully understood in our lifetimes, and that is not something to fear. This is where the true depth of AARO's work becomes clear. The office's mandate is not just to solve the mysteries of the sky. It is to engage with the process of discovery itself, to observe, investigate, and document without rushing to conclusions. It is a slow, thoughtful process of building knowledge, one small piece at a time, while acknowledging that not all pieces may ever fit together. This quiet, methodical approach allows the investigation to unfold without the pressure of sensationalism. There are no dramatic conclusions, no grand revelations to chase. Instead, there is simply a steady pursuit of understanding, rooted in observation, analysis, and respect for the mystery. The impact of this approach extends beyond AARO itself. It resonates with anyone who has ever looked up at the night sky, wondering what might be out there. The journey of investigating UAPs mirrors the larger human journey of exploration. Whether we are studying the stars, the oceans, or the deep recesses of the mind, we are all part of this ongoing quest for knowledge. Some may look for answers in the tangible, while others search for them in the intangible. But the search itself remains a common thread that unites us all. This shared curiosity connects us not only to each other, but to the generations that have come before us. The stories of ancient civilizations, the myths and legends of strange lights in the sky, the tales of gods and omens. These were the first ways humans tried to understand the unknown. Today, we have more sophisticated tools, more precise methods, and a deeper understanding of the natural world. But the core impulse remains the same. A desire to reach beyond the known, to push the boundaries of our understanding, and to see the world with a sense of wonder. As you rest here, with the quiet of the night surrounding you, there is something peaceful in knowing that the mysteries of the world are not something to be feared or solved hastily. The pursuit of knowledge is, in itself, a form of peace, a calm acceptance that there is much we don't know, and that is perfectly fine. The universe, in all its vastness, is full of things that may never be fully understood. But that does not mean they are not worth exploring. This understanding also brings with it a deeper appreciation for the role of investigation and analysis. AARO's work may not yield dramatic conclusions or sweeping revelations, but it serves an important purpose nonetheless. It provides a steady hand, a calm presence in a world that often feels chaotic. It serves as a reminder that there is value in the process, in the quiet accumulation of knowledge, even when answers seem elusive. Every sighting, every report, every piece of data is a part of a larger story, a story of human curiosity, of our attempt to understand the strange and the mysterious. And in this, there is something inherently comforting. As the investigation into UAPs continues, so too does the broader investigation into the mysteries of our world. The unknown is not something to be feared, but something to be explored, with patience, curiosity, and respect. And while the journey may not provide all the answers, it offers something perhaps more valuable: the opportunity to wonder, to reflect, and to engage with the vast, unexplored spaces around us. In this quiet space, the unknown becomes not a threat, but an invitation, a gentle call to look beyond the horizon and ask, what might we discover next? And as you rest, you can feel the peace in this thought. The mysteries of the world, whether in the sky or in the heart of the earth, are not there to keep us up at night with worry, but to gently stir our imaginations, to guide our curiosity, and to remind us that sometimes simply asking the question is enough. The evening has settled deeply now, and with it comes a sense of quiet reflection, as if the weight of the mysteries explored so far is gently resting in the background. We've walked through the history, the theories, and the investigations, and now we come to the part where we pause and consider what this all means, what it means to investigate the unknown, to search for answers to questions that may never be fully resolved. And yet, in this search, there is a profound peace to be found. It is not the peace that comes from certainty, but rather the peace that comes from acceptance. The understanding that not all questions have answers, and some mysteries, while they may never be fully understood, are worth pursuing nonetheless. The investigations by AARO and similar organizations have given us a glimpse into the vast and complex nature of the unknown. While they may not answer all the questions surrounding UFOs and UAPs, they offer a rare opportunity to observe, document, and analyze these phenomena without the pressure of jumping to conclusions. It's a quiet approach that allows the evidence to speak for itself, without sensationalism or overzealous interpretations. This is part of what makes the work of AARO so important. It isn't driven by a desire for grand revelations or dramatic breakthroughs. It is driven by a commitment to understanding, to patiently gathering data, and to treating each encounter with the same seriousness and curiosity. For the people who witness these phenomena, whether military personnel, civilians, or even casual observers, there is often a sense of awe that accompanies the experience. The feeling of seeing something that seems impossible, something that defies all known laws of physics, can be both exhilarating and unnerving. The question that inevitably arises is, what does this mean? Is it a sign from the cosmos? A message from another civilization? Or is it something more earthbound, something we simply do not yet understand? In the quiet of the night, these questions echo without the need for immediate answers. Perhaps the true value of these experiences is not in the resolution of the mystery, but in the act of observing and wondering. To witness something that challenges the very foundations of our understanding is to be reminded of the limits of human knowledge. And this in itself is a humbling realization. It opens up a space for humility, a space where curiosity can grow without the burden of having to explain everything immediately. Sometimes, the most profound discoveries are not the ones that provide clear answers, but those that teach us to embrace the unknown with wonder and respect. The allure of UFOs and UAPs, then, is not just about the object themselves. It is about what they represent. The vast, uncharted territories of the universe that lie just beyond our reach. They are a reminder that no matter how much we learn, there is always more to discover. The universe, in all its complexity, is far larger than we can imagine. And in our efforts to understand it, we are constantly reminded of the limits of our perspective. The investigation of UAPs, therefore, becomes more than just a scientific endeavor. It becomes a reflection of the human condition, our innate curiosity, our desire for connection, and our unyielding pursuit of knowledge. As AARO continues its work, and as new sightings and encounters are reported, the question of what lies beyond remains ever present. But in the act of investigating these phenomena, we also gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. We are, after all, explorers, whether we are charting the stars or delving into the mysteries of the human mind. The search for answers to these strange occurrences is not just about the objects we observe. It is also about our place in the vastness of existence. It is about our relationship with the unknown and our willingness to accept that there are mysteries in this world that may never be fully solved. Yet, even as we ponder these questions, there is a sense of peace in knowing that we are not alone in our search. AARO's work, the work of scientists, and the work of countless curious individuals across the world all contribute to this shared journey of discovery. And perhaps that, in itself, is the most meaningful part of the process. To be part of a collective effort, driven not by the need for answers, but by the desire to understand, to question, and to explore. In the stillness of the night, it's easy to imagine that we are all part of this great mystery, this quiet dance of inquiry that stretches out into the stars. Every question asked, every sighting recorded, and every piece of data analyzed brings us one step closer to understanding not just the phenomena we observe, but also the larger questions of existence itself. What is our place in the universe? Are we truly alone, or are we part of something much larger and more interconnected than we could ever imagine? These questions, as elusive as they may be, are what keep the search alive. And in this quiet, reflective space, there is comfort in the understanding that the search itself is what matters most. The pursuit of knowledge is not a race to the finish line, but a slow, steady journey, one that invites us to look up at the stars and wonder, to ask questions and not always expect answers, but to enjoy the journey of discovery nonetheless. So, as you rest and reflect on the mysteries we've explored, remember that the unknown is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. And in the quiet moments of inquiry and wonder, we may find that the greatest mysteries are not just those we seek to understand, but the ones we are willing to explore with an open heart and an open mind. In this space, we are reminded that it is not always the answers that matter, but the questions we ask and the peaceful journey we undertake as we search for the truth. As the quiet of the night lingers, the story draws to a gentle close, leaving behind a sense of calm contemplation. The search for answers, the investigation of mysteries, and the exploration of the unknown are all part of the same human experience, one that invites us to wonder, to question, and to reflect. Through the work of AARO and others, we've come to understand that some mysteries may never be fully explained, and yet they hold a quiet power that continues to inspire curiosity. The unknown, rather than being a source of fear, becomes a space for peaceful exploration. It reminds us that there is still so much to discover, so much to learn, and so much yet to unfold in the vastness of our world and beyond. And in this peaceful space, we find rest not in having all the answers, but in the quiet pursuit of truth, the gentle process of inquiry, and the understanding that the mysteries we encounter are as much a part of the human journey as the answers we seek. As the night deepens, we are left with the peace of knowing that the questions themselves are worth exploring, and that in this exploration we find meaning, wonder, and perhaps even a sense of connection to something greater than ourselves.